Hey guys, it's Joe from Pocketnow.com, and I thought you might be interested to know this. Since we do a lot of reviews and have a lot of review units that we come in and do, we don't want to send these devices back with all of our personal information on it. So today's Android quick tip is, how do you do a factory reset on your Android-powered device? Let's go take a look. Alright, so this is the HTC Desire HD, which was graciously provided to us to review by Clove Technologies out of the UK. We'll give you a link in the article. I'm about to send this device grudgingly back to them, but before I do that, I need to wipe out everything. Now, here's how you do that. You go to your home screen and you go to Menu and Settings, and then all the way down here you might think it's under Security, you might think it's under Privacy. No, generally speaking, it's under SD and Phone Storage. You tap that and right there you've got Factory Data Reset. Touch that, it tells you everything that it will do and more importantly what it won't do. This is not going to delete any files on your SD card. Your music, your photos, temporary stuff, apps that you've installed there, nothing. So your SD card is still going to have personal information on it. You will want to delete all of that manually, and I would highly recommend that you do that in a desktop or laptop computer. The current system software and bundled applications will still be there, so it goes back to the stock image, but it is going to get rid of your Google and other accounts and then any apps that you have installed to internal storage. So we'll go ahead and reset the phone, and here's the process. It does double check, make sure you want to erase everything, which we do. And we get this little reboot indicator. Now that's kind of telling. The way that it does a factory reset is by rebooting the phone into a modified recovery, and it goes through and wipes all of the partitions and restores everything in that process. How secure is that? I don't know. If you are working for some secret government agency and want to make sure that all of your confidential and top secret information is cleared off the device, you'll probably want to talk with your security personnel to make sure that this is secure enough, and they are likely going to tell you that you need to run this through some kind of an industrial grinder to completely pulverize the device to make sure it is all secure. But I don't know. We'll let our FBI, CIA, NSA, and other secret agency individuals respond to that in the comments below. So please do that. Comment below. Obviously, if you like this kind of video and like Android quick tips, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our video channel, and I know I normally say all of that at the end of my videos, but I figured I'd fill some time here because, as you can see, we are waiting on the erasure to happen. And this usually takes about the same amount of time that it takes to flash a ROM, which you can see here, just completed. Now, a lot of times the phone will automatically restart, a lot of times it won't. In this case it did. It's going to depend on your device whether they tell you to automatically reboot after you've done a reset or not. In this case it is automatically booting back up, and I should be met with the initial boot sequence, which you can see here I am. Now this is just the first step. Next step that you've got to do is obviously format all of your information off that SD card, and that is not going to be entirely secure. So I would recommend, if you're selling your device, take out the SD card. Don't hand that off to somebody else. In this case, since it's going back to Clove Technologies, I've gone ahead and erased everything that I've put on the SD card, so it's all nice and clean for them when they get it back. There's one other thing to do that you might overlook, and we'll get to that as soon as this boots up all the way. So the device is booted up. I'm going to go ahead and unlock it. And again, we're still met with the first boot experience. Once we've done that, we're just going to power down the device, and I'll show you the next step. Alright, now we're met with our language selector. I am just going to hold the power button, press and hold, and it asks me if I want to power off, which I do. Go ahead and touch that, and it will shut down. Wait for these lights to turn off and you should be good. Now, this is the part people forget. Take off your compartment, take out your SD card. Now I'm going to leave this in like I said, but normally you would keep that with you. But make sure you take out your SIM. Your SIM is your phone. Take that out and keep it for your next phone, because you can't make phone calls without it. And vice versa, anyone else who has your SIM card can make phone calls, send texts and whatnot as if they were you. Now, putting this back on, we put pressure here and snap it back together. Now, we're not done. What I have done is I have kept all of the packing material, and you can't see that very well. That is a little battery cover. So what I'm going to do is take this off. This is fully charged, which I always recommend you do. Somebody sends you something, or if you're selling it, make sure you send them a fully charged battery. It's just polite. The way you make sure it doesn't discharge is you put it back in its sleeve. So that's what I have done here. Just put the sleeve over. It's got this nice little tab. And what I'm going to do now is just slip the battery back in place. This is the way that it came, and of course I keep all of my packing material. Getting this back in may be a little bit tricky. Just go ahead and monkey around with it just a little bit. And after some monkeying off camera, I've got it all in place, so we'll just slide it in just like that, and we will replace the cover, which I will do the right way instead of upside down. Now this is the HTC Desire HD, and it is a little bit complicated to get this in and closed, and you just have to futz with it for a while. Tip that side in first. That's usually the best way to do it, but it is a pain in the neck to get it closed, which is, I've said it before, I'll say it again, that's actually a good thing, because once you do that, it's going to stay nice and tight. So there you go. Now I've got fingerprints all over this screen. I'm going to take my soft cloth, I'm going to clean it off really quick, and I'll do that off camera. Once you've done that, in this case it came with this nice little protective sleeve that goes over the front, and we'll just wrap that around, put it all together, and we've put everything back in the box, organized it as neatly as we can, making sure we're not forgetting anything. We've got the power adapter, we've got the prongs, USB, we've got the headphones, we've got all the material that came with it. Now, why do we include all that stuff? Well, I wouldn't include the headphones if I were sending it to someone else if I'd use them, because it's got my earwax on it, and I don't want them to have to experience my earwax. But you want them to have the best unboxing experience that they can, and we just slide it back together, and there you go. It looks like brand new. It's great. You can now sell this on eBay, give it to a friend or whatnot, or in this case, we're going to return it back to Clove Technologies out there in the United Kingdom, again with a big thanks out to them. So that's how you want to go ahead and return or prep your device for selling or for returning to where you got it from or whatever. Factory resetting, removing the SD card, and repackaging it. One of those things that you may not do all that often, but if you're moving up from, say, this device to the next device, or like I did with my G1 up to my G2, you want to make sure that the person who's receiving this has the best experience that they can. And a little bit of work goes a long way and keeps your data nice and safe. And it's better than accidentally, embarrassingly including your SD card and your micro SIM or your regular SIM and then having to ask for it back. So just make sure you do that. So, neat little Android quick tip for you for today. If you like this kind of stuff, give it a thumbs up. I already mentioned that. But, of course, subscribe to our video channel. Head on over to Pocketnow.com and check out some of our articles. And for Pocketnow.com, I am Joe Levi.